Deuteronomy Chapter 33. And this is the blessing with which Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, Jehovah came from Sinai, and he dawned upon them from Seir, he shined forth from Mount Paran, and he approached from the myriads of holy ones, from his right hand a fiery law went out to them. Indeed, he loves the people. All his saints were in your hand, and they sat down at your feet, everyone receives of your words. Moses commanded us a law, a possession of the congregation of Jacob. And he was king in Jeshurun, when the heads of the people gathered themselves, the tribes of Israel together. May Reuben live and not die, nor his men be few. And this is the blessing concerning Judah, and he said, Hear, O Jehovah, the voice of Judah, and bring him to his people. With his hands he contended for them, and may you be a help against his adversaries. And concerning Levi he said, May your Thummim and Urim be with your faithful man, whom you tested at Massah, with whom you contended at the waters of Meribah. He who said of his father and mother, I do not regard him, and his brothers he did not acknowledge, and his children he did not recognize, for they have kept your speaking and have guarded your covenant. They shall show Jacob your judgments, and Israel your law, they shall put incense before your nostrils and whole burnt offerings upon your altar. Bless, O Jehovah, his might, and the work of his hands accept, wound thoroughly the loins of those who rise up against him and of those who hate him, that they may not rise up again. Concerning Benjamin he said, The beloved of Jehovah shall dwell securely beside him, Jehovah shall cover over him all the day, and he shall dwell between his shoulders. And concerning Joseph he said, May his land be blessed of Jehovah with the choicest things of heaven, with the dew and with the deep waters that couch beneath. With the choicest of the crops of the sun, and with the choicest of the yield of the moons. With the top of the ancient mountains, and with the choicest things of the eternal hills. With the choicest things of the earth, and the fullness thereof, and the favor of him who dwelt in the thorn bush. May they come upon the head of Joseph, and upon the top of the head of him who is separated among his brothers. Like his firstborn ox, he has majesty, and his horns are the horns of the wild ox, with them he shall drive peoples to the ends of the earth together. Those are the 10,000s of Ephraim, and those the thousands of Manasseh. And concerning Zebulun he said, Rejoice, Zebulun, for your going forth, and Issachar, for your tents. They shall call peoples to the mountain, there they shall offer sacrifices of righteousness, for they shall suck the abundance of the seas and the hidden treasures of the sand. And concerning Gad he said, Blessed be he who enlarges Gad. He dwells as a lioness, and tears off the arm, yea, even the top of the head. And he provided the first part for himself, for there the portion of a lawgiver is reserved, and he came with the heads of the people, he executed the righteousness of Jehovah and his judgments with Israel. And concerning Dan he said, Dan is a lion's whelp that leaps forth from Bashan. And concerning Naphtali he said, O Naphtali, satisfied with favor, and full of the blessing of Jehovah, possess the sea in the south. And concerning Asher he said, Blessed be Asher above the sons. May he be the one favored of his brothers, and the one dipping his foot in oil. Your doorbolts shall be iron and copper, and as your days are, so shall your strength be. There is no one like the God of Jeshurun, who rides through the heavens as your help and in his majesty through the skies. The God of old is your habitation, and underneath are eternal arms. And he drove out the enemy before you and said, Destroy. So Israel dwelt securely, the fountain of Jacob in solitude, on a land of grain and new wine, and the heavens over him dropped their dew. Happy are you, O Israel, who is like you? A people saved by Jehovah, the shield of your help and he who is the sword of your majesty. So your enemies shall come cringing to you, and you shall tread upon their high places. Deuteronomy Chapter 34. Then Moses went up from the plains of Moab to Mount Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, which faces Jericho. And Jehovah showed him all the land, Gilead as far as Dan. And all of Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, and all the land of Judah as far as the sea beyond it. And the Negev, and the plain, that is, the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees, as far as Zor. And Jehovah said to him, This is the land which I swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, To your seed I will give it. I have let you see it with your own eyes, but you will not go over there. So Moses the servant of Jehovah died there in the land of Moab according to the word of Jehovah. And he buried him in the valley in the land of Moab opposite Beth Peor, but no man knows his burial site to this day. And Moses was 120 years old when he died, his eye was not dim, nor had his freshness left him. And the children of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab for 30 days, thus, the days of weeping and mourning for Moses were completed. And Joshua the son of Nun was filled with the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands upon him, and the children of Israel listened to him and did as Jehovah had commanded Moses. And there has not arisen a prophet since then in Israel like Moses, whom Jehovah knew face to face. For all the signs and the wonders which Jehovah sent him to do in the land of Egypt, to Pharaoh, to all his servants, and to all his land. And for all the mighty power and for all the great terror which Moses did in the sight of all Israel.